Hello and welcome to Weekly Steam Highlights. All of these games are ending between September 3rd and September 10th. I didn't want to pick anything that was going to end in the next 3 days because I wanted people to have time to buy it. These are all games that are 75% off or more, and these are all games that I know myself are good in some way. I've either played them myself or I've heard enough about them to make the judgment call that they're good. There's other games on Steam that are 75% off that are good, but that I don't know about. So I've elected to not sort of lead anyone into buying something bad. Okay, with all that out of the way, let's get into it. First, we have The Witcher Trilogy, which is all 3 games on sale for 75% off, which will give them $14.82 in American money. The Witcher games are... The Witcher 1 is not bad, but it has its ups and downs. It has a very outdated combat system, but the world building and the RPG stuff is still... It's not quite as good as 2 or 3, but it's still good enough. It's certainly worth $1.49. The Witcher 2 is a much better game. Combat is still not great, but it's improved. And this game got a lot of buzz when it came out for its moral choices and the way your moral choices sort of played into the story in ways that actually made a difference. You weren't just kick puppy or give baby candy. You had moral complex decisions. And that was the big selling point. Plus, it destroyed computers, so if you have a weak computer, don't buy Witcher 2 or Witcher 3, because you won't be able to run those, probably. And The Witcher 3 is won so many Game of the Year awards. It's so many people's favorite game of all time. It's just this huge, sprawling game filled with content, and buying it for $11.99 is a no-brainer if you want an RPG that's going to last you a long time. Once again, the combat is still... It's better than 2, but it's still not good. It's still kind of... It's an RPG first. It's not an action RPG, it's just an RPG. And it's not turn-based, but it's not hyper-fluid either. Anyway, this is a really good deal. If you're hankering for RPGs, buy all 3. If you're looking to buy just one, get The Witcher 3. You don't need to play the first 2 to understand The Witcher 3 story. But if you're only going to get one of these, get The Witcher 3 because it has the best combat, the most content. It's the newest one, which doesn't always mean it's better, but in this case it does. And yeah, that's that for that one. Here we have Warhammer Vermintide 2. Warhammer Vermintide was also on sale for 75% off, but this is a better game in like every way, basically. Warhammer Vermintide 2 is a lot like if Left 4 Dead was set in medieval times and didn't have guns. It's very melee focused, very combat focused, very sort of, just walk up and hit them with the stick. And yeah, they do have magic and they have guns like you can see in the screenshot there, but the melee is more effective and more sort of what you're going to be relying on. And I haven't played it myself, so I can't tell you too much about it, but I know it's good because I've seen and heard enough to tell you that it's good without feeling like I'm misleading you. But yeah, don't get Vermintide. Don't get the first one. Get this one. Get Vermintide 2. Especially since they're both 75% off. Now, XCOM. Let's see here. Yeah, XCOM and XCOM 2 are both 75% off. XCOM is $7.49. XCOM 2 is $14.99. If you're only going to get one, get XCOM 2 because it is better, but they're both good. If you really want sort of strategy RPG, but really tough, really unforgiving, really demanding, and a lot of micromanagement. A lot of macromanagement, too. You gotta manage your bases, you gotta manage your troops in combat, you gotta manage your equipment. If you like managing things and you want to take on an alien army and you want something that's just so punishing that you can walk up to an alien right in its face, 95% chance to hit, and you will still miss sometimes. And that's infuriating, but that's what some people want, and that's why these games took off when they came out. Yeah, if you're only going to get one, get XCOM 2, but if you really, really want XCOM, both of these are good. And they're both good deals, because they're both so discounted. Let me find where I am. Dungeon Defenders. This one I'm a little hesitant to recommend, because the DLC is a bit crazy. There's a lot of DLC for this game. And they sort of followed the money on that because the sequels are either free-to-play or filled with cosmetic transactions. Or occasionally loot boxes. This just has a bunch of DLC, no loot boxes. But I'm including this anyway because it is a 4-player, online multiplayer, tower defense, third-person shooter game. Which, there are multiplayer tower defense games, but not that many that are 4-player. I can think of Sanctum and Orcs Must Die, but those are both 2-player games. And I can't think of many that can do all 4 players. And it is a good game. The monetization is a bit questionable, but the game itself is fun, and you don't need to buy any of the DLC. You can play this game, just the base game, with your friends, and you'll still have plenty of fun, and I do recommend it, despite the other games in the genre being a bit... Well, the other games in the Dungeon Defenders line, Dungeon Defenders 2 and the Dungeon Defenders remake, are both really questionable and probably not worth purchasing, but the original, good time. Absolutely recommend it. Now let's see if I can figure out where I am on my bookmarks. There's so many of these. There we go. Next up we have the Rayman Bundle, and it has Rayman Raving Rabbids, which I am hesitant to recommend. But the reason I really included this bundle is Origins and Legends, which are both 2 of the best Rayman games ever made. And they're both less than $10. They're both $7.49. That's 70% off, but I'm including it anyway because the bundle itself is 76% off. You can get all 3 for $14.37, which is fantastic. I don't know if you want Raving Rabbids or not, but I think it's still cheaper to buy... Let's see. It might actually be cheaper to not buy Raving Rabbids. I don't know. But yeah, this is a good bundle anyway, so I'm including it. Yeah, Origins and Legends are both these 2D platforming games that are really high quality and have a lot of sort of creativity and imagination in them. They have things like these rhythm levels that are basically playing a rhythm game that they turned into a mobile game, actually. That's spun off into its own mobile game. And then Raving Rabbids is this party game that I don't know much about because I don't really care about Rabbids. It's just sort of there in the good bundle, so I had to mention it. Now, where am I now? There I am. Next up is the Space Quest Collection. These are all of the Space Quest games that were made by Sierra? Yeah, made by Sierra Games. Now, these games are good, but they're really old adventure games. So if you can't handle the logic and design of really old adventure games, then I can't really recommend these to you. But if you do like the older style adventure titles, stuff like King's Quest, Space Quest, even newer stuff like Double Fine Adventure, that game they kickstarted that I can't remember the name of. It might have been called Double Fine Adventure. But yeah, Space Quest, absolutely recommend it. One of the greats, one of the absolute best adventure games of the 90s. As far as I know, anyway. I haven't played it myself because I myself can't handle adventure game logic. I just know that if you're a fan of the genre, there's a really good chance you'll like this. And it's every single Space Quest game in a 75% off collection. You can't buy these separately because the collection is what you're buying. Anyway, off to the next one is, Magicka. A Magicka, this one, I had this one for a little while. Well, I used to have this one, which I won't get into that, but I won't get into why I don't have it anymore. It's not the game's fault, I'll just say that. But yeah, this game really blew up when Total Biscuit and the Yogscast were making videos on this a while ago. This is a multiplayer sort of party-ish game where you have these spells that you can combine. And when you combine the spells, it's sort of... There are some predetermined spells that have predetermined effects, but a lot of it is just improvisation that you can make basically whatever you want out of the spells you get. So you can make a beam of fire or a beam of thunder or a beam of lightning if you just keep combining the beam spell with other things. You can combine the mine spell with fire or something to make these giant explosive mines or shock mines. And friendly fire is on. So if you lay down a bunch of mines and your friends walk by, there's a good chance you'll kill them. Which is a lot of what made this game popular back in those videos, was the Yogscast or Total Biscuit and Jesse Cox when they were still working together. Yeah, they were constantly screwing each other over, either by accident or on purpose. If you have 4 friends to play this with, or even just one friend to play this with, I do recommend it. By yourself, it's not quite as entertaining. With friends, yes, this is absolutely worth buying. Now next up we have SteamWorld Dig. SteamWorld Dig and SteamWorld Heist. I didn't include SteamWorld Dig 2 because that's not 75% off right now. SteamWorld Dig is this sort of Metroidvania-ish game where you're digging down, and what makes it really unique is that you can't place any blocks. So while you're digging down, you have to sort of plan out your route ahead of time to make sure you can still get back up, or sort of creatively figure out a way to dig back up to the surface so you can buy your upgrades and things. And as you go on, you get more upgrades that'll let you double jump, and I don't remember clearly, but there might have been some kind of jetpack. Yeah, there's more stuff. Oh, you can climb up walls. That's another upgrade. But yeah, you get more and more upgrades that'll let you get out easily despite digging yourself down. It's a kind of a short game. Even if you 100% it, it's not more than a couple hours, which for Metroidvania is really short. So I recommend it if you don't mind that. But if you don't like shorter games and you don't like Metroidvanias, then steer clear of this. Otherwise, absolutely a great game. But between the two, if you must buy only one SteamWorld game, I'd rather recommend SteamWorld Heist. This game is very interesting. It's this mix of a real-time, like 2D shooting game and a sort of XCOM-esque turn-based RPG where you move your characters, and then once you move them, you get to actually aim the gun yourself. So you'll get this sort of guide to show you where your bullets are going. And you can move your characters one at a time and shoot them. If you've ever played Valkyria Chronicles, this is like a 2D version of that. And it's absolutely fantastic. I recommend it. If you're only going to get one SteamWorld game, get this one because it's that good. I never got that far in it myself. Never got past the first boss because I'm just terrible at it. Even on easy, I couldn't get past it. But you'll probably have a better time than me if you have any experience with turn-based strategy games. So that's that. Yeah, I absolutely recommend it. And, oh, yep, this is the next one. Xeno Drifter. This is one that I have played through myself. This is another really short Metroidvania game. It's a little more standard in its Metroidvania-ness. It doesn't have any unique twists to it like the SteamWorld Dig game does. You're just sort of going through an alien world, finding different tools and weapons and equipment to get through the world more efficiently. And yeah, there's multiple worlds like you see there. It's very Metroid in its exploration more than Castlevania. In fact, it might just be a Metroid game because there's no RPG elements, so it's not a Metroidvania, it's just a Metroid-ish game. So yeah, if you want a really pure Metroid experience and you don't mind a game being on the shorter end, I highly recommend this one, especially at that price. It's absolutely worth it at that. I think I bought it for $5 on the 3DS back when it first... Well, not when it first came out, but like a year or two after it came out. Highly recommend it if you don't mind shorter games and you really want a pure Metroid experience. Next up we have Nuclear Dawn. This one is a multiplayer game that's kind of dead, but I'm including it anyway because the deal is really good and the game is really good. This is a Metroid... No, ignore that. I'm still thinking of the last game. This is a first-person shooter, except your commander is looking down from an RTS view and giving real players their orders. Kind of like Savage 2, I think, if you've ever played that game. But this is more sci-fi, and you have a lot of base building. And I have played it before once myself, but I didn't get very far because the computer I was on was too weak to play this game well. And there are bots, so you can play this game even though the multiplayer servers are dead. But if you're intending to play with real people, you're not going to find that many. I'm including this anyway because, like I said, the deal is good and the game is good. But, you know, steer clear if you don't like dead multiplayer games. I know most of you don't, but there's some like me that buy good multiplayer games just on the off chance they ever revive. Or they play a bot match. One of the two. Anyway, on to the next one. Is Runbow. Oh, this one. Hang on, I need water. I've been talking for a while now, non-stop. No brakes on this train. No cuts, no nothing. I'm not editing this at all. Okay, Runbow. I played this on my friend's Wii U a couple of years ago, so I do have a bit of personal experience with this game. This is a very good party game. If you've ever played Speedrunners, it's like that, but more fleshed out. Basically, you have different platforming challenges that you've got to stay alive on, like you gotta keep running. Yeah, right there. Keep running and keep ahead of the pack, while the back keeps sort of chasing you and drawing in closer, and if you hit the back, then you die. And then there's other stuff like platforms that disappear that you have to sort of... not fall into. And yeah, it's just a really unique platforming party game experience that has up to 9 players. It's a really good deal for 75% off. Maybe buy for a couple of your friends because it does have online multiplayer. Also has local multiplayer. Yeah, while it's so cheap, maybe get it, play with some randoms or something, or just buy couple of your friends a copy so you can play it together online whenever you're bored. But absolutely worth the price. Really quality experience. I think I bumped the microphone. Fantastic. Really quality experience. I love it. Worth the price. But don't get just a single copy if you're gonna play it by yourself. Because there's no single player or anything. Oh, there is a single player, but it's not worth buying the game over. So if you don't intend to play multiplayer, don't buy this. And then lastly, we have The Marvelous Mistake. This is another one that I've only heard and seen enough of to give you a vague idea, but enough to know that it's not bad. If you are a fan of very unique, creative puzzle games, hang on. Then you will absolutely love this game, as far as I know, because you are a thief trying to steal different paintings and artifacts, and it is sort of like a turn-based stealth game. So every time you move, the guards and the AIs move, and you're trying to puzzle your way through without alerting the guards, or taking out the guards if you do alert them. And like I said, I don't know that much because I haven't played it myself. I have seen gameplay footage of it, and I've heard people talk positively about it before, so I know it will be worth your money if you are a fan of these sort of puzzle games. But yeah, that'll be it. These are all the best deals I could find today. They all end between September 3rd and September 10th. So at September 10th, when all of these deals end, I will be making the next deal video. Or I guess on September 11th. I will be making the next deal video, so you can look forward to that. I will leave... Well, you could just sort of search these up yourself with the titles, but yeah. If you like this video, like, comment, and subscribe. Like I said, there's more coming on September 11th. And yeah, I'll be making these videos by just sort of waiting for all of the deals in them to end and then making a new video. That way I have some sort of recurring thing that I'm not going over old deals. I'm just sort of... Yeah, that way I'm not repeating deals I've already seen before. And there won't be this long of an intro and outro next time. I'll just quickly go over the rules to remind people. I'm only going through all this extra stuff because this is the first video of this kind I'm doing. But yeah, that'll be all. Thank you for watching, if you've made it this far. Like I said, like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more.